You know, in every city there are some places that just set it apart. Places like the Cathedral of St. Paul, the Stone Arch Bridge, or First Avenue.
A Twin Cities man wanted to help people bring many of those places home, and as Terry Gruca found out, he created a little pop culture in the process.
Life is filled with all kinds of twists and turns. Michael Birawer exaggerates them in places you'd least expect.
And this is my interpretation of the city and the community.
Michael molds some of the most popular scenes across the Twin Cities into magical works of art, putting his own twist on old favorites.
Whenever they say it's like this bendy type thing, they always do this kind of motion. Heard people say it's very cartoony, that I take architecture and make a caricature of it.
That's not the only thing that makes Michael's masterpieces stand out.
Everything is popping out at you, and that idea, which I call pop-outs, I take that idea and extrude the shapes and pieces.
His originals are three-dimensional. This Minneapolis skyline sculpture stretches 10 feet by 3 feet. So expansive, so detailed, each time you look, you'll likely find something you hadn't noticed before. Michael likes to add his own special touches, like he did in his first commissioned piece.
There's a grain belt beer truck going over the bridge, and so there are little added flavors to the Twin Cities that you really have to look for in order to see them.
Some of the fun features are more symbolic, like this man standing outside McGovern's Tavern carrying a map. He's modeled after one of Michael's friends.
It was like this sort of like road map of like, okay, where do we go from here after this? And it was kind of a metaphor of where I was at and in my career then.
Michael's storied success is a story by itself, but it's more notable because this St. Paul native never expected he could do this for a living.
I started doing this kind of as a hobby.
He created his first piece in the 1990s.
I decided, well, if it doesn't look good, well, I'll just throw it in my closet.
On the urging of friends and family, he kept creating. 10 years later, Michael has a mountain of memories uniquely Minnesotan.
So is this how everything starts?
Yeah, it is. What I do is I kind of take a bunch of photographs.
Pictures form the foundation of his sketches. Everything starts in pencil.
You know, a lot of artists do many sketches, but for me, I just go through many erasers.
It can be tough for the non-artist to see his vision.
So do you know what you want to have pop out? I mean, when you're doing this?
Well, that's where the real art kind of has to come in. It's kind of art and engineering at the same time.
It will take Michael weeks to form his newest creation, a scene near the sculpture garden. Paint and texture turn the abstract into the amazing, none of it by accident.
The distortion is really kind of an idea to sort of set it apart from anything else. It just makes it a little different, a little more dynamic.
It's Michael's way of putting his own twist on Twin Cities pop culture, turning everyday images into real works of art.
I'm doing what I love to do, but I'm also, being able to make a living at painting the city I live in. And that's just that's such a special feeling.
Lucky for us, he's doing that. Cool stuff. Michael's Twin Cities art is becoming so popular, even people who don't live here are buying it. That's not surprising. He's also crafted a few special pieces of Chicago.